So the 2023 winner of the Open Textbook Award is Nomusa Ntinga. Where is she? Come, Nomusa. For her interactive e-book on physiotherapy terminology. Great. Here's your certificate.
Thank you. Sanbonani, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, this is an honor, and I'm humbled by the award. I did not expect it. I was very surprised when I saw the email. I had to read it a few times. But I'm a physiotherapy lecturer at UCT. I arrived here in 2019, and I would just like to honor my ancestors first because, okay. So, sorry, my clan names are Ndinga Mjambe, Pondol Ngembi, Hilmore Hitsonge, Olotul Ngemba, Labuya Nkowankowan. So that's from the mountains of Nyambane in Mozambique. All right, so I want to thank my HODs, Dr. Mani, Prof. Neri, for their support. My colleagues, when I started this textbook, they had to help me decide which terms the students were really struggling with. And we had to back and forth, and it was on top of the usual work. But I was told to speak about why did I even think of coming up with the book. So when I arrived at UCT, it was a very tumultuous time. But I remember my first experience of teaching, and the students kept asking me, what does this mean? What does this mean? And students that look like me. So I said, okay. Then I explained it to them. Then I said to one of them, as they were walking out the class, they came up to me, and I said to them, why don't you try translating it into your indigenous language? And they said, she walked closer to me, and she said, ma'am, you mean I must think in Zulu? And the fact that she had to walk closer to me so that the other students couldn't hear her is what actually struck with me, that our indigenous students are torn between two cultures. They are trying to embody what we're trying to teach them, but they are neglecting or kind of torn. And that violence is what I was trying to address with this book. So when I first started it, it was published in Vula, and it was the activity, so it had to be interactive in nature, because I wanted them to do the work of thinking and embodying the language or discourse of physio. So that first draft, the interactive components allowed them to speak in the actual indigenous languages, and then Vula, if you know, I think it was, now it's forums, now I forgot what it was before, but it was divided into all the indigenous languages, including Afrikaans as well, so that they could decide whichever group they're in, and then they would submit the audio challenge. There was a quiz, then there's activities to simplify the language as well. So we did that, but I think it was COVID or something. They just, when they opened it and everything was there, we lost the meaning. So then we revised the book with student input about what they found. Was it helpful? How often did they access the book? And so forth. Then we removed the division, and we just said, use your indigenous language. So it wasn't about where you fall in a category, because I did notice that UCT pulls in quite a lot of students from Mpumalanga, Johannesburg, rural KZN, Limpopo, Venda, and indigenous language is part of their identity there. So the fact that they have to leave it outside the classroom is actually, it's not a nice feeling to have to deny yourself just to have a career. So I thought, okay, if I write it, then it's a clear message that you can do this. It's okay. And it's okay to be who you are. You don't have to sell out, kind of, to be part of this. And the real thing is, in as much as we assess with grades at UCT, the ones that embody, they take it in, their own indigenous voice is within the profession. Those are the ones that do very well in the same rural areas they go back to. So, yeah, that was what I was hoping. And then I was asked, future plans? I need to finish my PhD, then I'll come back. But the main thing was more collaborations. I think there's a huge scope. Physiotherapy is very technological in terms of terms. There's a lot we can do in introducing indigenous languages and also trying to soften that blow when indigenous communities come into our spaces. So interdisciplinary, would love to collaborate. And yeah, what I noticed when I checked who was sourcing my book initially, it's countries I've never heard of, you know, in the Asian kind of areas. So I was shocked, and I wonder how much my African brothers and sisters I actually know that this resource, because Africa is not first language English speakers. It's all people that speak their mother tongue. So I would love to know how far is this violence, or is there other ways they are actually softening this transition or this being torn between two cultures.